Hi everyone, I'm PirateWalnut, I'm with GM Mercy, and today we're going to be focusing on how to stay alive on Mercy. You may be wondering why I'm on Lifeweaver, and to be honest, I've been playing other characters on the side, but you know I need my YouTube views, so I will be playing Mercy today. We have an Ashe, so I will be mainly sticking with her. I am also dueling with my Iari Pros, and I know Iari Mercy isn't the most liked comp, but if you know how to play with your Iari, it'll be fine, I promise. It just means I may be healing a bit more in order to cover for Pylon. I struggle to change beam targets, and we lose Hanzo, which is my fault. I also think this res was a mistake, but I was also expecting Winston to place his bubble right, but it's okay. They needed the swap anyways. An important thing to note is Pylon's position, and as we are backing up, we get out of Pylon's range. So I prioritize healing to keep everyone up while we regroup. And while we regroup, you should make sure that you are subscribed, as it helps out a lot. This is a general tip, but make sure to ping any revealed targets, especially if they are a Widow or Flanker, just so their presence is known. Especially when pocketing, try to create distance from the person you are on, just so if they get pushed, you aren't the main target. Whenever the main person you are pocketing is repositioning, take that time to do something else until they are in a relevant spot. With my Iari going in, I pop Valk to damage boost her to proc her explosions. I'm honestly not afraid of D.Va dying and honestly hoping she does so I can res her and she can remech immediately. I play a bit paranoid that they will take damage and I should have been pushing damage boost instead. D.Va is full health and we have numbers advantage. Could have pushed damage boost on Ashe until she gets dropped. I see Hanzo taking an aggressive play, and I should have followed him. While I do live by taking the safer option, he takes this engagement dry, and it doesn't end well for him, just like Dry Case. Without D.Va mech, we have to stabilize until we get mech, and the best decision now is to be pretty and support Ashe, which does lead us to Ashe getting Bob. Especially with their comp not having any prominent hit scans, as long as they keep my distance from the enemy, I can play in the open like this and still avoid most damage. D.Va is in Narnia, so I stay with the TPS since it's my job to. I mean, it can't get any easier than that. I make sure to res is safe before doing it since this fight is still losable and res once Sigma is distracted. Allari died recently, so resing her would be more impactful since Cass is about to respawn. I suspected Reaper was gonna ult, so I play on high ground and my deduction was right as he blindly walked forward. They saw from Zen the BAP, which means I actually have to think and use cover to not get beamed by him, I guess. With Pylon down, I need to heal D.Va to make sure she stays in mech. I pop Valk to make something happen and try to make an advantage for us. I tunnel vision on Iari and almost get taken out if my team didn't cover me. Jove just stayed where I was and used my beam link to support Iari up front. I know D.Va's taking a bad engagement, so instead of resing, I follow her. Unfortunately, she loses mech, but Reaper loses his life, so a worthy trade in my opinion. I made Iari in the middle so I can keep her up, but my D.Va takes a very creative position. I make sure to keep my distance and it pays off as I'm able to support Iari through Flux. Off topic, can we talk about the healing this comp can do? We were able to heal through a whole focus beam, which in my eyes is crazy. It's mainly Iari's beam, but this Cass is certainly fighting for his life. Once our team is back, we push up and Cass gets hit again, so I heal him and damage boost him until my beam disconnects and I go back to Ashe. I hug the Ray wall while pocketing Ashe, and we clear the enemy because we have more resources than the enemy. I was gonna make an Oregon Trail joke for this segment, but I'm not a pioneer of comedy. I take a bit of ult charge to give Valk, then give the rest to Pros so he can build ult. Playing on Jailhouse, I can play super far away from Ashe and still support her the same way, which allows me to not be the focal point of Echo's dive, which ends horribly for her. I Valk once they res, and it's more of a preemptive Valk just to confirm point capture. I definitely think I could have gotten away with holding it, but I know I'm getting Valk quicker because I'm healing more to cover for Pross playing aggressive, so I'm okay with using Valk more frequently. A little messy my beam prioritization since I tried to hit everyone but missed literally everything. I could have kept Cass up if I stayed. To be honest, I was more worried about card progress and my team isn't backing up anytime soon. Fortunately, JQ gets a very nice knife on the Yari and we have to back. We have closer respawns, so we just need to stay alive so we can take a quick fight. Fortunately, JQ oversteps and we can push on his advantage. I push with Ashe as she is taking an off angle, and even with me just healing to keep her up, we are able to take space. With their JQ back in Nano Casti, the enemy pushes up so we rotate out. While we are able to contain the Casti with D.Va, JQ is able to build ult. I could be a bit farther back, as if I was, I wouldn't be hit by Rampage, but even if I didn't, the damage was done and we lose both DPS. At the moment, we are playing to keep D.Va up, but the enemy Casti makes a mistake and me and Pross want to push that advantage as our team respawns, so we pop ults. I body block Yari just to make sure she doesn't die, then I just spectator ult until we win. I wait till JQ is preoccupied before resing, then just play to keep everyone up so we don't lose anyone before the final fight. My Cass takes an off angle and Ashe is not in a good position at the moment, so I damage boost him for the time being. I could be damage boosting harder, but I make sure D.Va is healthy since I don't want her to lose mech. I follow Ashe to keep her up, and I should have slingshotted to her instead of Yari so I can keep being connected. I trust D.Va and Yari can help me through res, so I use the circuit box as cover, then heal to heal myself and also stabilize the team. Ashe goes above, and while I was not tall enough to get on the high ground ride, I used this opportunity to support the rest of my team until Ashe is top right, then I fly to pocket her. Then all I have to do is flick damage through somewhere, then we will win the point. I just got back into streaming yesterday, and I plan on streaming a new Unranked the GM series where I play Mercy but without any game sounds, so if that interests you, make sure to subscribe here and follow my Twitch in the description. Going into defense, the Yari Mercy is going to run better since we can set up pylon in better spots and we are running a poke heavy comp. Yari Mercy runs similarly to Zen Mercy, so anytime you can run Zen Mercy, you can run Yari Mercy most of the time. I plan on positioning in Cafe to support Ashe, but for the time being I will play with Cass since he is in sight of the enemy, then I go to Ashe when she can see them. The best way of using this spot is using the bottom door to heal teammates, then using the bottom stairs as cover to pocket Ashe safely. I could fully stay in Cafe, keep everyone up, and I don't need to slingshot forward as it exposes me here. This can be one of the safest spots if used right, as you are basically untouchable unless they have flankers, but even then, it can be relatively easy to position. Do note that if you go too far up the stairs, you can expose yourself a lot, like how Sojourn shoots me here. One thing that is great about playing with the Yari is I don't have to go out to care for Cass as much since Pylon can cover it for me. Luckily for me, they now have an Ashe, so I'm super safe here, and as long as I pay attention to the high ground, I should not have any trouble. Mercy on defense should look as easy as it looks here. If the character is easier to play, then don't make playing her harder than it needs to be. Yari has Pylon and isn't taking much pressure, so she can heal on her own. While we're waiting for the next fight, I want to ask something. What is the worst Mercy skin? Comment down below your reasonings and explain why it's actually camouflage. As Ash pushes up, I push up, and while she backs off very quickly, I care for Cass since Pylon is still in the back. I see the team taking pressure, and while I could be hard pocketing Ash and getting higher damage boost numbers, I would rather not use res when I can prevent a death, especially since they have closer spawns. The enemy has been playing mystery heroes, and Mercy just ulted, so I should expect ults from Kiriko and Sojourn who have not swapped. Always think about what has happened in the game in order to plan out what could happen next. Always make sure to ping Reaper TP, and as suspected, the enemy commits fast. Unfortunately, I could not save Ash, and I have to Valk to quickly GA out. I res Ahri since it was the safer option since Reaper was still on high ground. I fly towards Sigma since he is the only one I can fly to, and I try to save Cass, but unfortunately he LOSs me and he dies. I should have just left immediately, but you know I do my TikTok clips. I now try to keep Sigma up so we can buy time for our DPS to come back with ults, but Doomfist had other plans. I fly towards high ground and LOS using the circuit box, then fly to Ash. This flight towards Bob is very risky, but honestly might have been the better choice, although I should have healed him a bit more to heal myself. Cass dies and I notice Doom wants to cancel my res, so I wait out punch then res once he is out. With our team back and with way more resources, we are able to somehow clean up this fight. Yeah, I might need a towel or something because that fight was something. With that fight done, a lot has happened and there aren't as many ults to be used for this next fight. So our main goal, which you can call out, is getting an early pick and holding our usual ground since the enemy has to touch point. Unfortunately, my team gets split and the enemy divides and conquers and we start to crumble like a Nature Valley bar. With Ahri and Doom dead, this fight is over. I should have backed up earlier. While this GA is small, it makes me stuck with Ash and Doom really wanted me to die and, well, I did. Oh, you know I was pissed after that death because I could have prevented it and also because now I can't clickbait this video. Team's playing on high ground, so I play on high ground until Doom ults, so I drop to avoid the ult. I definitely could have looked over Cass, because he was also hit, and I tunnel vision on Ash like a boosted person. This res is also not good as per usual, and it leads to my Ahri dying. The enemy is pushing in, and without our second support, I pop Valk to stabilize our tank. I could be playing closer to the high ground to be out of sight of Sojourn. I hold damage boost on Bob since healing him wouldn't keep him alive for much longer, with the enemy shooting him with Kitsune. While this Valk doesn't do much at face value, it mainly allows us to regroup and not give us much space, which is priceless. I fly to Cassidy to support his ult, but Ash gets jumped like it's World Star, so I go to her. You know this Doom is pissed because he did not care for me and wanted Ash. Just like the final fight on first point, we don't have ults to work off of, so once again, we need to use high ground to get an early pick. Especially with them needing to go on point, we can force them into a bad engagement and also be very safe. I hear Reaper below and all I need to do is ping him, then my team will pressure him out. I hear Doom going up, so I step away from elevator. Ash is on Jailhouse and I should have just fully followed instead of being in the open like this. While I avoid Doom and Kiriko, I overexpose myself to Sojourn when she takes Saloon and I take so much damage. I played distance just to regen a bit, then go back to helping everyone. I almost have Valk, and healing gives more ult charge, so I jump to heal, then pop Valk, and kill Sojourn my below. And honestly, I missed every shot after this, but at this point, the fight is over, and I just have to exist to win. Thank you so much for watching. We are at the final stretch to 1,000 subs, so if you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and comment to help me out. Thank you again, and until next time, bye bye!